So this was a story I reported way back on my old channel, man. This was about a shooting that took place outside of Schurz High School. This is a location I've been in a lot of videos. It's on the northwest side, and it's an area where there's a lot of Latino gangs. So at any rate, man, there was a really good student over there who had been killed because wrong place, wrong time. This was like right outside the school. And if you guys remember the report from the time that it happened, they said a 17-year-old was charged as an adult and given no bail Thursday. This is from the time that the arrest was originally made in the murder of a Northside College prep student in Chicago's Old Irving Park neighborhood. Now, if you remember, the student was not attending Schurz. He was attending probably the best high school in the city of Chicago, which was that Northside College prep. It's a school that you have to test to get into. Really good school, man. But the guy's name was Emmanuel Gallegos, also 17, was on his way to get his hair cut Monday night when he was shot in the neck while traveling in a car in the 4400 block of West Addison Street. And that's on the northwest side. Gallegos was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police had said the shots came from a male standing on a corner near Schurz High School. And so this kid was totally innocent. He was not like, a gang member or anything. And that's the campus that's located at 3601 North Milwaukee. Two other males were with the shooter and joined him in yelling gang slogans at Gallegos before opening fire. But Emmanuel was not in a gang, though. The suspect, who's identified as a guy named Luis Castellon, was taken into custody, and this was over by Belmont and Western. Belmont and Western is where the police station is at. That's not his address, but prosecutors said that just before Castellon, who's an alleged gang member, fired at the vehicle that Gallegos was riding in, he asked one of the passengers his gang affiliation. And I told you guys this about a lot of these Northside gangs, and it is a difference between the black gangs and the Latino gangs. The black gangs all know who their enemies are, like pretty much by face, whereas the Latino gangs, it's like this citywide gang war based on affiliation, and you don't even know who you're into it with a lot of times. So they ask guys, where are you from, blah, blah, blah. And, if they don't like the answer, they get the wrong answer. A lot of times they just blow. And there's been situations where guys have killed members of their own gang because they've gotten the wrong answer, or he's wearing the wrong colors. And some of these gangs, they wear colors that are so close to each other. Like the Latin Kings, their colors are black and gold, and the SDs are black and yellow. And then you got the 2-6, which is like black and like khaki, like beige or whatever. Well, these are all really close. And then, you got I'm trying to think. You got the Spanish Cobras that are like black and green. But, a lot of times these guys just walk around in all black. And then, you don't know who's who. They're all wearing that shag haircut. But this guy, Emmanuel, did not have that. But he was in the wrong place, wrong time, man. So the affiliation was denied. Like, everybody said that they're not with anything. They're just, they don't gangbang, blah, blah, blah. And everybody in the group was saying that. We don't gangbang, we're nothing. At any rate, Castellon pulled out a handgun, and the driver had slowed down. So there's a lot of cameras right at that spot because of the school, and it's just a big intersection. And during the investigation, prosecutors say that detectives recovered surveillance camera footage of the shooting and also a Snapchat video showing him holding a semi-automatic handgun. Luis was charged as an adult with first-degree murder one day after police released a photo of a person of interest that they were looking for. And at his bond hearing, a judge ordered him held without bail. So apparently, when it came to the shooting, like, the guy didn't even hesitate. He just immediately opened fire. And Gallegos, they said, was a kind and ambitious, and his death had scarred everybody. So one of the guys said, I feel broken to know that this guy who was taller than me but still a kid died in my arms. He said he had a lot of goals, and they just got robbed from him. So family and friends believe that this was a tragic case of mistaken identity. Police said that they have no history with Gallegos, who was focused on school. He was a straight-A student. He commuted from Belmont Cragen to attend Northside College Prep, which is an elite selective enrollment CPS school. So on Thursday, his family and friends, they said, we're still trying to cope with the pain. One of them said, I had class with Emmanuel. He sat like right behind me in the morning. That was the first class we had. So just seeing his empty seat, hearing the news beforehand was just really jaw-dropping. And to get straight A's at Northside College Prep is not easy. Like, you can't be out there in the streets, like, kicking it with the guys all day and do that. Like, you have to be studying all the time to get straight A's at Northside College Prep. Like, that's not a school where you just, like, some of these schools in CPS, you basically just show up, and do minimal work and you're gonna slide by. Northside College Prep, man, if you're not studying all the time and like doing that homework, you're not even gonna probably get a C average over there. So competition there is very high. You're dealing with the best students from all over the city. So they said the entire situation is such a tragedy, but for Manny, I'm glad that justice can be served in some way. So the vigil was held for him, and a visitation for Gallegos was held over at the Elmwood Park. And funeral prayers, they said, took place at the Elms, followed by the funeral mass at St. John Bosco Church. And these are all on the northwest side, so by the Belmont-Cragen neighborhood. So Belmont-Cragen is a neighborhood with a lot of gangs, but this kid was not part of any of that, man. So it was just another situation where these gangbangers are killing neutrons, like over nothing, like mistaken identity. That guy that I just told you about, who's the shooter, that guy Luis, he's now been sentenced to 40 years. Okay, so he's now 21. They said a 21-year-old man has been sentenced to 40 years in prison for killing that student. Luis Castellon was 17 when he was accused of shooting the 17-year-old to death over by Schurz High School. So Emmanuel was a high-performing student, they said, at one of the city's best public schools. And he rode along as a friend, drove to pick up a third person at Schurz High School. So everybody, was over there was denying being a gang member. They said, and as the vehicle pulled away, Castellon fired on the car while yelling gang slogans. And I'm not sure what gang he was a member of, but at any rate, man, so 40 years in prison now is what he got. On Wednesday, the judge sentenced him to 34 years in prison for Gallegos' murder and 6 consecutive years for attempted murder. The judge also sentenced him to a concurrent 40 years for aggravated discharge of a firearm into an occupied vehicle. Castellon has not yet been transferred to the Illinois Department of Corrections, so his estimated parole date is unavailable, and that was being reported by CWB Chicago. So he's 21 now. He's going to be getting out when he's 61. Okay, 61 years old. So all these guys, all these gangbangers out here doing this, thinking about doing this, ask yourself the question. Look, maybe he's got really solid homies. They're going to be putting money on his books and writing him letters and, sending him money and stuff like that when he's in his 50s and, when he's 60. But the vast majority of the time, that doesn't happen. He's going to be sitting in there alone. Okay, and the gang that he rode for to do this, that he rode for on neutrons to do this, is going to be gone. Like, if they even still exist. Like, when I do some of these Chicago history videos, you see, like, some of these gangs from, like, 40, 50 years ago, they don't even exist anymore. Like, all the gangs are different now. So, is his gang even going to still exist at that point when he's still sitting in there? The gang that he rode for and threw his, all those years of his life to the prison system for, is that gang even still going to, be around? And he did all this for that. So, I mean, take that lesson, man. This is all, it's a trap, man. Like, it's all just a big finesse, basically. Like the devil's finesse, man. Everybody, when you see a report, I'm out.